All right. We're down to read.
Exactly. Hey, this is Shaun with the Atlanta Tennis Podcast, powered by Go Tennis. Check out our calendar of Metro Atlanta tennis events at letsgotennis.com and be sure to register for the Go Tennis Fall Festival on November 9th at James Creek Tennis Center. There is tennis and pickleball and lots of cool stuff. It's going to be awesome. Today, this is 10 Minutes of Tennis with Justin Yeo, world renowned tennis coach, Australian in Puerto Rico, and we are talking about the evolution of the racket sports industry. Why the surge in interest in pickleball and paddle? And is pickleball the new racquetball? We'll explain what we mean. Justin Yeo, good morning. How you doing today?
Good morning. Good morning, everyone live. How you doing? Glad to see everyone tuning in.
We are asking the question. It's all tennis, is what we say. So we've got racket sports, and now every director of tennis in the Atlanta area, we'll just speak for ourselves here, has to be a racket professional. You got to go get your master's in rackets, and it's no longer just tennis. It's more than that. So, Justin, I'll ask the generic question first. How did it come to this? How did we get here?
It was always here. All you got to realize is when you say tennis and it's all about tennis,
In the Atlanta.
tennis is the king racket sport, and then everything else sort of blends from there.
Hmm.
I actually, you got me curious to find out if table tennis was invented before tennis, but I don't think it was. So if we really think about what was first, I would say that's why you're saying tennis and every other racket sport because I could say the racket sports were developed so that it could acquire more of the audience because not everyone could play tennis. So, and pickleball is the big hot thing right now for two main reasons that I see, and I have to give kudos to who designed it because what he recognized was the global obesity and overweight, the majority of the population of the world, and he created something that people can have a good time and be social, get some racket sports, feel good, get the same release of tennis, and it makes them also. Which a lot of people sometimes say, "Well, I can never play tennis now." And we're like, "Good luck, man."
Mm-hmm.
So, but at the same time, it commingled tennis as well. So tennis itself, a pro or a decent player can play with anyone, and it's sort of an equalizer a little bit to everybody that has the fun. So it is a major, major thing, and it's made a huge move. Even the pros are starting to come over and realize they can have a bit of fun with it. Um, but it's just another sport that's added into racket sports that's absolutely flying. I wouldn't say it's flying in all areas of the world, but the United States is definitely going berserk.
Yeah, and it might be the rest of the country catching up with what I would say is maybe a more New England model where there's a lot more indoor. So they've got those indoor pickleball courts, they've got older memberships, they've got padel or paddle, however you want to say it. They've got the badminton and the racquetball, and it's more of a racket sports club atmosphere. Where in Atlanta, we just got a bunch of tennis courts outside and we all kind of go play tennis. But you're right, tennis is the hang on, let me adjust my mic here. Tennis is the king, so to speak. At least it's the progenitor, let's say. So that way we don't have to feel like people are assuming tennis guys feel like they're better than the rest of them, because there are plenty of people out there as well that think that and say no, 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 it's got to be only tennis. Well, it doesn't really, because at some level you've got plenty of people out there that aren't going to play tennis or can't play tennis or just
Yeah,
physically don't have the time to say, you know what, I can't get good enough to enjoy it. So
yeah.
there's pickleball.
And then you've got two parts to the business model. One part of the business model is if I'm a country club and I'm creating more engagement by creating pickleball courts on the tennis court, or taking over a basketball court or another tennis court and creating isolated pickleball courts, then by creating engagement helps their membership. So business wise, they're making more of their space and it works out well. On the other hand, I've had other people come to me and say, "Well, no, per square foot, you can make more money." And I'm like, that depends on lessons. there's not a lot of, I would say, pickleball lesson as there would be of a tennis lesson that people need to be repetitive on. So
Yeah.
there's a two sides of that as far as the business side of it goes, but I can see advantages in every area. You know, like even on the pickleball side, if you operate a bar or something close by, it can generate revenue because people can be social playing pickleball. Tennis is a little bit different. Unless you go to Europe, my friends just came from Italy and they had a full cooler of high-end champagne, beer, everything on the court.
Oh, don't remind me. Don't remind me. But you talk about the square footage and how many people can you fit on a court, and the courts are smaller. And yes, there's a per capita, per square mile thing that pickleball has some advantage. But in that case, so would padel. But padel is easier to get into, but potentially harder to play. So they've all got their learning curves. They've all got their numbers that they can handle on court. And you're right, pickleballers don't take as many lessons now. In the beginning, there was a bit of a surge. Pickleball coaches were making ridiculous amounts of money. And now everybody's figured out, oh, it's not that hard. Let's just learn how to score and get started. So they're struggling, I think. Some of the business models are struggling there isn't one. We haven't really figured it out. I'll speak for Atlanta specifically. We haven't really figured out how to monetize it well. The leagues are kind of haphazard, not really sure how to do the format. So are we still in this transition, or is this always like this and it just feels like it now worse?
I have no answer for that one for the reason that if we think about the skill level and the growth of a pickleball player versus a tennis player, technically, I don't know. I can't say that you would do as many lessons in tennis to keep growing. It takes a very long time. It takes a very short period of time getting quick and better pickleball. So, you can get the basics and then say, see you later to coach, and then come back a little bit more. But in tennis, we see a definitely way different business model as far as financially. So yeah, when you do per square footage, yes, but at the same time, there's no apples to apples there when you're talking technique and the complexity of tennis versus football. So, again, if I'm in the business, I'd be opening a bar or some stuff close by to the court. And then if I add up paddle, I was a huge big level squash player. I think Padel is another whole game. It's not really easy to teach either because you've got to be very agile and you've got to get used to the walls and used to different angles. And that isn't something you necessarily teach either. That's something you have to just hit a lot of balls and learn everything. You just realize too, it comes down physical mobility and agility to be able to do all that as well.
So, yeah, like racquetball and squash, where it's a 360-degree movement, and that's a tougher thing. And speaking of racquetball, let me do that. Racquetball was big in the 80s and 90s and then kind of faded. My last question here is we're in our 9th minute.
Yep.
Is pickleball the new racquetball? Is this just a fad, or is it actually here to stay?
No, that's here to stay. It's doing it. It's creating too much momentum for everybody. Everybody's having a good time. Even pros are learning the advantages. I don't want to give you the secret, but I truly believe too that if tennis pros, coaches, and players would use a little bit of pickleball to work their face because the ball bounces so low, it actually helps their tennis a little. So there's a little pep plug at the end that there's still a lot of tennis against pickleball saying, no, I'm never going to go there, but it can give that little bit of an advantage. And I think if we find a way to blend the two, our tennis will look how to take advantage of that mini court and get kids to do pickleball that move into mini tennis, and then mini tennis, as they grow, they'll keep growing. So I think there's a big advantage here right now if we get this right. We're going to do a plug out there for Craig Morris from the USPTA player development, and just go, mate, hope you're listening, because I think there's a big one here if he somehow uses all the pickleball courts out there and create mini tennis players.
Yeah, two great ideas. Use the pickleball courts for 8 and under red ball, even
Yeah.
pick 10, PTR pick 10 style adult courses to get people into the sport. That's what everybody's trying to figure out how to do. How do we get new people into the sport? Pickleball might be the secret. Justin Yo, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. This has been 10 Minutes of Tennis. We'll see you next week. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate.